Chiapas. I've made it. I'm in San Cristobal de las Casas. Wait for everybody to get here and file in for this wonderful Tuesday evening live stream. At least it's evening here. Let me know where you're watching from. Life is good here in San Cristobal de Chiapas. Let me tell you guys, I've got some nice hot lemongrass tea right here. You can't really get that in Playa del Carmen, so I'm enjoying some hot beverages here. Let's see who's first. We got Gold Rock in the house. What's up, guys? All right, I'm gonna pull this a little bit closer just so I can see everybody, answer all your questions. We've got Alessandro. What's up? Hello, hello, everybody. Salud. Happy Tuesday. It's been a long couple of days, guys. Now, I've got a full video coming out tomorrow and a follow-up video covering the entire journey of how I got here. And let me just tell you, I did not opt to take the 2-hour flight. It was a long journey to get here, I'll tell you that. Callie John in the house, surfs up, my dude out there. Hopefully you're catching some waves. We got Kevin Clattenburg in the house. What's up, Kevin? Good group filing in. Have you tried Mitos Fable 5? No, I have not. Sophia, how you doing, Sophia? Good to see you. Now, forgive me, guys, if I'm a little bit, you know, calm and chill. I just got a massage, and guess what? Spoiler alert, it was only 350 pesos here in San Cristobal de las Casas for a hot stone massage. It was fantastic. Following that up with some tea. That's pretty cool. Thanks for the tip there, Gold Rock. Much appreciated, my friend. We got Alan Carnegie. Al in the house. How you doing? You in play, right? We got Rob. What's up, Rob? We got Pierre Patrick. Will you go find some insects in amber in the upper? Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to be hitting the market. I've got videos coming from the market. Guys, let me know in the comments exactly what type of content you want to see from Chiapas. I, for one, will be focusing on the theme of digital nomad, retirement. Is this a geo arbitrage hotspot? How's the infrastructure? I'll be showing the real costs of everything. So if you guys like that style video, just type real costs, everything from massages, haircuts, gym memberships, and beyond. What's up? What's up, Tracy? How you doing? Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And I will be back in Playa, guys. Make no mistake, that's my home, but I do love to travel. It's a passion of mine. And okay, thank you for sharing that. Avencia says rental probably properties, food, etc. You know I'm hitting the food, you know that. And guys, the food is fantastic here. The people are incredibly kind. But I'm going to be answering certain questions that aren't easily answered. These are the deeper questions. Is it easy to make friends here? How walkable is this place? Um, is it a place where I could actually feel at home, say maybe 3 months out of the year? And that's the question. And funny enough, guys, where I'm staying, I met a guy from Cancun, and he lives in Cancun about 8, 9 months out of the year. And then he comes here to Chiapas for 3 months out of the year to get away from the heat and sargassum. That is, yeah, Mike. I mean, come on, man. I can't, this is a family show, but I understand the curiosity. I mean, I'm smiling. Hopefully that answers your question. Stability of the internet. That's cool. Great question there, Dan, man. I gotta say the internet has been surprisingly good here, the infrastructure, but you really have to go test it before you book a place, before you rent a place. Go in person, test the Wi-Fi. Don't just book a place on booking.com because they say, "Oh, we have fast Wi-Fi." That's not how it works here. You really have to go test the Wi-Fi in person, but some places have surprisingly strong yeah, Kevin says no seaweed there, amigo. That's facts, man. Feels good. The cause of sargassum is not necessarily global warming. It's not just, there's not one thing to point the finger at, but something's fertilizing that sargassum. And some people are pointing the finger at South American farmers and the runoff going into the Caribbean. I don't think that's the whole story. I think that sewage, human waste, is fertilizing A lot of the sargassum issue. Cruise ships are dumping their black water in the right in between Cozumel and Playa del Carmen, and it's fertilizing the sargassum. And resorts are paying companies to pick up their waste and then dump it somewhere. And the quicker those companies can dump that waste, the quicker they can go do another job and make more money. So they're going to dump that waste wherever they can get away with dumping it. I truly think that's probably at least 30 or 40% of the issue right now. And as you may notice, the more tourism booms, the more people are there, the more people move there, the more the population booms and the infrastructure can't keep up with it, the worse the sargassum problem gets. Why is that? Well, we've seen the waste issue in Sayulita in places like Nayarit, San Pancho, where the population booms too fast. But fortunately for Sayulita, ciao, ciao, que les vayan bien, buen viaje. Now, we've seen that in Sayulita, but fortunately for them, there is no sargassum on the Pacific side. So what you end up with is people getting sick from sewage, but no sargassum. On the Caribbean side, there is sargassum, and the more nitrogen that goes into the ocean, the more fuel on the fire, so to speak. Guys, double tap your screen to give this a like so we can reach more enthusiasts, more people who are interested in Chiapas. Keep those questions coming. Hey, nice to see you as well, Santa Corky. Now, that's a great question, Kevin. I love that. He says, "What are the prices like there compared to Playa?" It's not even close, guys. So I'm gonna do a full breakdown, but lodging is next level cheap. I'm talking like 2,000 pesos a week, that kind of cheap. I just got a 50-minute hot stone massage for 350 pesos. Also, the tipping culture here is not out of control. A lot of times when people bill you, they don't even ask you if you want to add a tip. At the restaurants, even in the fancy tourist area, I got a dinner for 70 pesos in a sit-down restaurant. We got Newfoundland. Hey Debbie, how you doing? Says I love your channel. Good to see you here, Debbie. So guys, just keep those questions coming. We've got Just the Heart. Hey, what's up, my friend? Says are better deals on rentals for 3 to 4 months throughout December to April. Let's see. Mike says if water's not treated correctly before release, it's just as bad as the fertilizer. Facts on facts, Mike. As far as the deals, the rentals, Just the Heart, are you referring to Playa or Chiapas? Let me know if you can clarify that so I understand the question a little bit better. Thanks, my friend. Leaning into says, is Chiapas safe for us to go to? Um, hey guys, I really do think that um Chiapas is incredibly safe, but it's if you go up into the mountains on your own, it's anyone's guess. I asked the locals about hiking here locally, and you want to go with groups. When you go to Sumidero Canyon, there's crocodiles. You don't want to get in the water. We're gonna go, I think, on Saturday in kayak um, through the river. And there's a little risk there. There's crocodiles, but overall, it feels really safe. Guys, Scott Smith has a great question. He says, "You getting some coffee, I hope." Yeah. One thing that surprised me, and I'll have a full video about things that kind of surprised me so far in Chiapas, is I thought coffee would be quite a bit cheaper here. Um, Depends on where you get it. There's a market called Jose Castillo. I'm going to be showing that market in depth. And I think there we're gonna be able to find coffee hopefully as low as 120 a kilo, but I just paid 250, and the gentrification is in progress here, unfortunately. I just went to a cafe on my way to the Banamex to pull out cash, and they had erased all the prices off their board. They still had all the products and then the zeros, but there was no number before the decimal. And you could still see the old chalk marks. An espresso was 22 pesos. A double espresso was like 34. And I asked after buying my half kilo of coffee for 250 pesos, how much for a double espresso? And he looked at me and hesitated. And then he said like 75. And I just laughed and I was like, ¿Subieron los precios? So they're trying to gentrify, they're trying to raise the prices in some spots. The best response there is just don't pay the ridiculous prices. Go to the places that aren't greedy, don't support the greedy businesses. Aaron, hey, good to see you, buddy. How about the food there? The food is fantastic. I've got a video coming out probably Saturday, um, where I arrive in San Cristobal and I check out three different hostels and I hit a restaurant right upon arriving, and it's an absolute gem. Right down to the homemade Jamaica, mermelada de Jamaica, homemade hibiscus jam. Incredible food so far, guys. Now, I will say a lot of you are probably wondering exactly how I got here. I have a video dropping tomorrow, Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Train Maya. Epic, epic journey, guys. No spoilers, but check out tomorrow's video. I'm on the Train Maya for a solid amount of time. It was a long journey, and then the journey was not done there because I landed in Palenque. Also fantastic food in Palenque, by the way, guys. Just the Heart says, still waiting to find where I can find a roast pork sandwich. I did have one of those on the train, Maya. Spoiler alert, it wasn't very good. Um, Thank you, Rashaki says, looking forward to the rest of your videos from Chiapas. How far is from Playa? Kevin asks. Well, Tuxtla Gutierrez is only a 2-hour flight, but I did not come by plane. The way that I arrived here was a total of 20 hours. So if I look a little tired and I got some kind of bags under the eyes, I only slept 4 hours before I left Playa. It was my birthday. And so I left on the 5th on my birthday. And so my friends wanted to take me to dinner. A buddy of mine wanted to do a podcast with me. I didn't even start packing till like 11 at night. I got done at 2 in the morning. I left my place at 7 a.m. and I got on the train Maya at 9:30 in the morning on 4 hours of sleep. And yes, Stacy Noble, good to see you. Hibiscus jam, correct. You are correct. And thank you, Kevin, for the birthday wishes. Thank you, all of you, for the birthday wishes. It was an unforgettable one. I spent the majority of it on the train Maya, and then I spent the remainder of it exploring Palenque a little bit and having some fun, eating some good food. And thank you, Alan. Yes, guys, definitely. If you're interested in this $30 billion train and how functional it is, and all the ins and outs and all the information that you don't know, I did my best to demystify it. And any remaining questions you have, just leave in the comments of that video and I'll answer them as best I can. That was my third time on the train Maya, and all three times it was not on schedule. Spoiler there, it did not arrive in the time that they said it would. 30 billion, yes, that is the actual estimate now. They were originally saying 6 to 8 billion or something. Um, and it went basically like 3 times over budget. So the estimates now are like 24 to 30 billion is what was spent on the train. And I believe it. I mean, it's an engineering marvel. It's impressive, but um there may be some issues with it. So more on that in tomorrow's video. Um, I don't even think it's 800 miles, Neil. I would have to check that out. But yeah, it's a lot of money, guys, and I really think they probably should have spent maybe a quarter of that addressing the sargassum issue, because tourism in the Riviera Maya is essential for Cancun, Tulum, Playa del Carmen, Puerto Morelos, and on and on and on, and everybody who comes there to work and their families as well. So Jill Ayers, good to see you here, Jill. Salud, got the lemongrass tea. Let me all know how you're doing, what you're up to, what you're drinking, and just double tap your screen to give this a like. And I'm actually in my lodging right now in the beautiful, beautiful office. This place is fantastic. I'll do a full breakdown of why I chose this place, how much I'm paying. But it's been a great experience here so far at my lodging. And I walked around on foot, and this is the third place I checked. And that's why I do it that way. Like, you don't want to get lodging where your room is right on the street with a street view window in a colonial town like this where everyone's mobbing by cobblestone streets on motorcycles, cars. You don't want to do that. And also, you want to get the best price. You want the best vibe, the best amenities. This place is pretty sweet, so I'll give you guys the breakdown in an upcoming video. What's up, Steven? We got car to go in the house. Everybody give Steven some love, my go-to car rental guy right there. Okay, MLRS says currently have Jamaica tea in my Mexico Yeti mug. Awesome. You know what I packed in my Yeti mug was creatine, actually. I had to get really creative. I only brought a backpack and a 10-kilo luggage. So I didn't want to bring my big tub of creatine, so I just put it in my Yeti coffee mug, and that's worked out pretty well. What's up, Nick? How you doing, buddy? We got Jay in the house. Very sad situation indeed, my friend. Yeah, I mean, at least throwing like 1 billion at the Sargassum would have been wise, but they really did blow about 30 billion on the train. And you'll see tomorrow in the video just how full or empty the train was. And there's constant misinformation out there. I think people are well-meaning, but even some of the Train Maya employees I spoke with gave me some information that was incorrect, and I was able to kind of demystify that. I will say for the most part, the National Guard, the staff, everybody during that Train Maya experience was incredibly helpful and friendly. Um, but interesting stuff, including like bag checks, protocol at the Cancun Train Maya station was very different than the protocol at the other Train Maya stations I've been to. So if you want to see that, I show all the fine details, guys. It's about a 50-minute long video because it's just jam-packed with the actual step-by-step experience. And also I show some of the views, some of the little ranchitos and towns you see in Tabasco and Campeche along the way. So really, really a fun day and a lot of usable information right there as well. Let's see. How much was it by train to get there on train? All that information will be in the video tomorrow, guys. The price, the actual cost. Um, and thank you, Avencia, for the birthday wishes there. Glad I'm back in San Miguel, says real estate. Yeah. Tracy says, Rope, we fell in love with Cozumel, even though we were there just a day. Want to go back and stay for a week or longer. Yeah. I actually just reached out to Raul because a number of you were asking about real estate in Cozumel, and I do want to go see what the situation is there with condos in Cozumel because the west side of Cozumel is consistently much nicer than a lot of the beaches in the region. So yeah, Costumel's fantastic spot. Hey Nick, how you doing? We got Double Up. Haha, what's up, Silverthorn says, what's up, big dog? Love you. Love you too, brother. Yes, yes, Zach, yeah, I love Chipotle. I love spicy in general, and you get that in spades here in Chiapas for sure. Trying to make sure I didn't miss any questions. But guys, once again, anything that you're wondering about Chiapas, ask me now or let me know in the comments, and I'll consider it for a full video idea. Now, one thing too is this place is at 7,200 feet. I've heard some people who think this is at 5,000 feet elevation. We're very much on the same kind of elevation as Mexico City. It's quite high. So when you live at sea level for a long time, you'll have 2 or 3 days adjusting to the altitude as well here. It's no joke. It's definitely noticeable. What's up, David? How you doing, my friend? Yeah, Silverthorn says I'll be in PDC in the fall. Hopefully things are improved in a big way with the Sargassum by then. But I hadn't been in the water in Playa since March, and my routine was go to the beach in the morning with my thermos of hot water and my mates, and go for a little swim, get grounded, do some martial arts, some yoga, whatever, just get my body moving, flowing, and then I would go to the Reef 28 spa. Then I would go do something, work as far as analyzing stocks, make some videos, edit, film, do a podcast, whatever it may be. And by having the first part of that routine disrupted, my health, mentally and physically, my energy level was totally screwed. And Playa is definitely not the same place when the beaches are just not only unswimmable, but you can't even go down to the beach because of the actual toxicity of the sargassum. It's a bad situation, and I'm always going to keep it real. It's a tough sell for me to pay $1,000 plus a month for rent and live 3 blocks from the beach when I can't even go to the beach. It's just a tough sell. And I think the situation will, be resolved by maybe a hurricane, Mother Nature, but ultimately, we as shepherds of this planet need to do better. And there are things we can do better for sure. I think responsible sewage treatment is one of them. So, Thomas, what's up, my dude? Says best sports bars in PDC. Um, there's the Tabernacle, which is more of a Canadian sports bar over there by Plaza 28 de Julio. That would be one where you would watch hockey, playoffs like baseball, basketball. That's really probably the most poppin' one. Corner 44, Quinta Parrilla is a good one, guys. If you have a favorite sports bar in Playa, let us know in the comments. Um, let's see. Wife and I love your content, says Gord. Thank you. I know you're into fitness and volleyball. Curious if you play golf at all. My golf game's terrible. I have a pretty good like chipping and putting game. It's the mid-range stuff that I need to work on. And I could probably get to the driving range a little more frequently, but I am trying to trying to up my game on the golf course, especially now that I have more and more friends who are avid golfers, including Raul, but a couple of my good buddies, including Warren, who did this minor surgery on my back for me for like $52. Shout out Warren, if you're watching this. Stanley Cup Finals, NBA, World Cup, best sports bars. Thanks. Yeah, I still say probably up there by the Plaza at El Tabernacle. We got Coffee Doffy in the house. Says, hey, going in 2 days. What's Sargassum look like in Puerto Morelos? I actually just did a video up there, guys. It was a real estate video, but I did show the beach at the end of that for the bonus materials. So that was only 4 or 5 days ago that I filmed that. So if you want to check that out, it's on my channel. Um, so Neil says supposedly the capital of herbal medicine in Mexico. Yeah, I mean and I assume you're referring to San Cristobal or Chiapas in general. But yeah, there's a lot of curanderos here. There's a lot of healers. And so like first thing I did when I got here is go to the local market, and it's just jam-packed with people, and I'm towering above everyone, and there's so much going on, and people are looking up at me like, who's this guy? But the first thing I always do is go to the local market, and I found the freshest, just most aromatic lemongrass I've ever smelled in my life. And that's what I'm actually drinking right now. I boiled water, put the lemongrass in here, and that's been fantastic with some honey. But also, I've already found Chinese medicine. I found an acupuncturist, hot stone massage, and I've just scratched the surface. But there's a big health scene and natural medicine scene here for sure. We got Nick says the water on Puerto Morelos looks brown, but it's mainly due to the sand in the water and not that it's dirty. Rope Monster was the name given to him at the gym when he was working on pulling the ropes for physio. Yeah, thanks for clearing that up. Yeah, battle ropes, guys, battle ropes. Also, I grew up doing some climbing as well, but it's mostly from battle ropes. That's the story. So yep, and I don't do as much on the battle ropes now because it's hard to travel with them, and a lot of the gyms have these dinky little ropes. I used to use the 2 inch, like 50 to 60 pound ropes, and man, that is a way to get jacked. Absolutely jacked. Let's see. Remember the first time I went to Fifth and cars drove on that street. Wow, that must have been, when was that, Nick? Please let us know. Um, Meg says, did you say how long you plan to be in Chiapas? I'm most interested in the amazing waterfalls. Yeah, I'll be doing a lot of the nature stuff and adventures. I don't know how long I'm going to stay in Chiapas. The questions that I'm trying to answer here will determine that. How good is, or about how bad is the air quality is another one. A lot of times, if you look at the weather forecast for San Cristobal, it'll say air quality poor. And so I'll cover that in a video as well, where I'm talking about the good and the bad and the mysterious of San Cristobal de las Casas. But it's to be determined. I will pivot if I don't feel like spending, too much more time here, I'll pivot and I'll actually go to either coastal Chiapas, which very few people know anything about, and or coastal Oaxaca. So I'll do like Mazunte, Cipolite, Puerto Escondido, and maybe beyond. And I wouldn't mind going and doing some surfing, guys. So like Playa Carrizalillo and Puerto Escondido is one of my favorite surf spots in the whole world. And it's still quite a bit more affordable. Yes, Los Tabernacles on 10th, Thomas, that's correct. We got Mad Child says, hey brother, thanks for the videos. I really appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate you as well. So guys, I took the long way here for your viewing pleasure and to demystify the train Maya. That is pretty much the longest route on the train Maya that anyone would logically take. And so I demystified that and then showed the rest of the process in another video to get from um, Palenque to San Cristobal. And you will see at the beginning of the video, I'm chipper, I'm spry. The beginning of the video that comes out tomorrow, and by the end of the video, I look like dehydrated, I'm sweaty, I'm exhausted, still in good spirits, but it was a journey. It was an absolute journey. Hey, Marcella in the house, how you doing? Yeah, I've got 2 cameras now. I've got the net collar. I can probably actually film some surfing now. I didn't want to risk my one and only camera when I was in Morocco surfing. So if I do surf, guys, I'll probably get some pretty sweet footage. Let's see. Ah, the group chat. Let's see what we got here. The group chat. Hey, I got Flower State gifted from Richard. Thanks, my friend. Nick says the group chat in Selva Escondido was super proud that you plugged our condos. Thanks a bunch, sir. And that's a genuine dap and props to you, Nick, and Selva Escondida. That's a beautiful property. And there are only 2 of those 2 bedrooms left from the way I understand it, at 139K. And I'm very tempted. I think a lot of folks don't understand how much time I spend editing and how much time I also spend analyzing companies and managing my portfolio. It's a passion of mine. And collectively, I mean, on the Train Maya video alone today, the reason my eyes are kind of puffy, I think I spent 4 or 5 hours putting that video together. And so the Selva Escondida would be a refuge for me because there's Wi-Fi throughout the property, and I could sit there and just edit videos outdoors, maybe in the common areas, jump in the pool. They've got hydrotherapy, they've got pickleball, tennis, basketball, which is I played high school basketball, so I can get up my 100 jump shots and then go right back to what I'm doing, editing. So I really think Selva Escondida is a fantastic option, guys. I did leave a link in the pinned comment and the description of that video to get into contact with Raul. And if you're interested, any serious buyers, go over there and plug in your info. He can help you out with those properties or build you a custom list for your specific needs and budget. So, but it's one of the top 3 properties that Raul has shown me, at least for me. Okay, so Nick confirms that. He says, yes, the Wi-Fi in the common areas has 300 megabits per second. That's fantastic. That will do. That will do. All right, we got Brandon Bowers in the house. What's up, Brandon? Hey, and thanks for the super thanks the other day, by the way, Brandon. Appreciate you, my friend, from Baltimore. What's up? Funny thing, the owner of this place where I'm staying at actually rocks a Baltimore Orioles cap. So that's funny. Let's see, we got, yeah, that property was nice, says Lula. Absolutely. Walter in the house says Puerto Escondido has been off the hook as of late. 25 foot. Woo! Okay, that's gnarly, man. Is that down at Punta Cicatela, or how's the break at Carrizalillo looking? And now there's 2 spots in Carrizalillo. You have like the local break and the Güero break. But that's my spot right there. We got Neil Stewart says, thanks, man. Great to hear from you. San Chris would love to be there. It's a beautiful place, San Cristobal. And everyone I've talked to before this trip who has been here said had nothing but good things to say about it. And so it was high time that that I came through here. Richard says, "Bro, that's a great deal for 139." I agree. And I wouldn't live there full time necessarily, but it would be a place where my dad could move down. My dad could stay there if he wanted to come down. My brother, family, friends. It's a two-bedroom, and the amenities are fantastic. There's better food near and on that side, on the west side of the highway in Puerto Morelos. Me and Raul hit a quesadilla spot, Quesadillas de la Colonia. Top 3 quesadilla of my life, for sure. The salsas were all fire. Raul asked the girls which ones were spicy and which ones weren't, and the ladies were like, "They're all spicy," and that's how you know it's good. We got let's see what else we got. Brandon says, "Welcome. Thanks, brother." Um, the penthouse rentals in Cancun, I'm not so sure. William Todian has made videos about them. Yeah, I haven't done any Cancun properties yet, guys. Um, Looks like we got Tuvu, and is that Tuvu? Did you change your handle? Or maybe that's someone else. We got two club harder better. What's up, my friend? Thanks for the love. Appreciate you. Um, and thanks, Nick, for clarifying that. I had a question about the HOA. I know the smaller units and the cheaper units, the HOA is 2,200 pesos, but you said for the penthouse units there it's up to like 3650 because you have that rooftop space and that palapa. Let's see. B Banger says, would you consider living outside Playa considering the sargassum epidemic? I already miss Playa, guys, and I'm not gonna lie, like the sargassum sucks, but I miss Playa. It's like I know so many people there. It's my home, and that's why I haven't been traveling as much as I originally planned. When I retired, I thought, well, I'll do 6 months Playa, 6 months traveling. And now what I'm thinking about doing to answer your question is 6 months Playa, 3 months San Cristobal or somewhere else. It could be San Cristobal, but that's what I'm trying to figure out on this trip. And then 3 months traveling, which could be anywhere in the world: Turkey, Greece, Italy, Southeast Asia, could be anywhere. Argentina, Chile, um, Paraguay, for example. So, 3 months traveling in perpetuity and 6 months in Playa, and then 3 months question mark. But thanks for the great question, guys. That's the kind of question that I'm really trying to answer. Um, thanks, Rob says Ropey for the win. Playa will come back. Absolutely. Happy Tuesday, Daniel. Oh, okay. Okay. They ratified a vote to increase from 2,900. Okay. So thanks for clearing the HOA stuff up there, Nick. I really appreciate that. That's what we have this community for. Kevin says we will have to hook up for morning tea next March in Playa. That'd be great. And the 6 months that I would be in Playa for sure would be like mid-November to mid-May, something like that. Um, it's undeniably my favorite place in the world from about December to March usually. And April is usually really nice too. My buddy came down April 2025 and it was gorgeous. So I would do those 6 months. I've done the last two low seasons in Playa. I've mapped it out. I know what it's like. It's not terrible. But when I can smell sargassum from my balcony on Fifth Avenue, it's just time to go for a while because it gets old. If you're there full time, that smell definitely gets old. We got Kevin Hamill in the house says, "Hey Ropey, sup, bro? I'll be in PDC tomorrow. Can't wait. Awesome, my friend. Enjoy. Go say hi to Doña Paola and Jorge and Carlita over there at El Cielito Lindo." Okay, so Thomas says, Rope, the real estate market in San Diego County is starting to crack many price reductions. Yeah, I can believe it. I've noticed the same thing in my hometown market of Portland, because I'm always comparing US prices, Portland, especially also Phoenix, where I used to own a condo, to Mexico. But I think the broad market, a number that I want to share with you guys is actually a real number. This isn't just speculation. The median when when more than 30% of the median household income is spent on housing in the US, it's usually indicative of overvaluation and an impending correction or even housing crash. And that number is nowhere near 30% right now. 42% of the median household income in the US is being spent on housing. And so housing has to correct. It absolutely has to, and it will. And I think it's already started. The supply, the amount of supply that I'm noticing in the Portland metro area has been booming. I've been watching it on Zillow and also speaking with a couple of old high school buddies who are now realtors, and they're not going to lie to me about the situation. They're 100% honest. We video chat and they're 100% honest about the situation, and the supply is growing faster than they can sell the properties. So we say, I want to leave Canada because the West is in decline. B Banger. I'm actually going to interview a Canadian who I met, and he's a fantastic cook. He's staying here in the same place I am. He's been here for 4 months, and he also does not want to go back. So I think you're not alone in that sentiment, and that's part of the reason I do these videos on like, hey, should you move here? Because I'll tell you this, and this particular Canadian is here because of this reason. Cost of living, the affordability and quality of life in San Cristobal is, from what I can see, fantastic. It's a great value. Now, one thing that you're going to struggle with is finding high-end spas and things like that. But what we do have is a nature in abundance here. There's some good gyms, some that are very, very cheap. I have a video coming on that soon that was a lot of fun to make. And it says, so Kevin says, we're here in Nova Scotia and healthcare is not great here. Yeah, that's the other thing, guys, the healthcare situation, insurance. Um, I was able to have a wisdom tooth removed. I was able to have the surgery I desperately needed on my sinuses and my deviated septum. And all of that, those two things combined for a 4 hour long surgery and a wisdom tooth extraction were, I think, total about 2,000 US dollars with no insurance. Insane. Toronto condo market is crashing. Thanks for sharing that, B Banger. Guys, leave in the comments if you're in real estate. I know Ruben Castro, if you're here or you're watching this after the fact, you're a realtor in Texas. Let me know what your thoughts are. But the numbers don't lie. There's these set numbers that you can look at, whether it's in the stock market or in real estate. And the big one that's easy to understand is the percentage of the median household income spent on housing. And once that's over 30%, you got problems. Once it's over 40%, you're going to see a correction. That's the one I look at, and it's at 42 right now. So thank you all for those of you who have shared. Residency in Mexico is getting hard to qualify for. You can still get your temporary, guys, if you can show about 70,000 in savings and investments. Keep in mind that it depends on the particular consulate you go to. But the temporary, you don't need to have the monthly income. That's the struggle. People look at the monthly income requirements and they don't look at you can also have a total amount of savings and investments, and that will also get you temporary residence. I don't think I'm going to go to any World Cup games here in person, guys. I actually don't love huge crowds. I deal with big crowds gladly when there's a big market and there's a bunch of fruits I've never seen and food. Like, for example, there's two varieties of mangoes here in Chiapas that I've never seen anywhere else. But as far as going to a crowded stadium and enduring a ton of traffic, I'm probably not going to do it. I will likely instead be up in the forest or at the waterfalls or kayaking in the canyon. Yes, Hassan says, or sorry, Eshan says, question, have you ever tried any Indian food in Playa? If so, any recommendations? India Jones by far is the best that I've had in Playa. I've tried a few spots. Mas Masala is pretty good, but India Jones is fantastic. It's on Fifth Avenue, but you have to look for it. It's upstairs, and the owners are incredibly kind. It's the most authentic Indian food I've had in Playa del Carmen, hands down. Which hospital did you use for your deviated septum? It was, gosh, let me think of the name. Was it La Jolla? It was in Cancun. Trying to remember the name of it. But I used a Cuban surgeon and Cuban medical team, and I ended up paying cash. I actually showed up with 65,000 pesos in cash. And it was funny. I actually have video of Augustina. She went with me and she was counting it out, and the surgeon was there watching her count it. It was a pretty unique experience. Only in Mexico, guys. Is it better to get temporary residency or permanent residency? It depends on what your goals are, just the heart. If you want to really work towards citizenship, eventually you could get permanent, but temporary is fine for most people. It gets you pretty much everything you need to where you don't have to leave the country. You can stay here comfortably. Yo, what's up, Matt Maker? How you doing, my friend? What's new, brother? What do you got going on this week? All right, we got the Delt Trainer says we bought a townhouse in Cancun 2 years ago. It's already doubled in price. Prices keep rising and our dollars keep sinking. I think now's a good time to buy. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm at least looking, as most of you know, I'm out there looking at what's available. I last year I wasn't seeing the value yet, but I'm starting to see the value. The Mayakoba property, 3,000 square foot place for 399K. That one stuck out to me. And then Selva Escondida Dos, 139 to 179K also looks like a fantastic value. Um, Hey, we got Fractal Trades in the house says, hope you're well and trading those stocks, baby. Not doing really any active trading at the moment. What I am doing is setting up my portfolio to play a little bit of defense. I do think with all these IPOs, guys, and a lot of you have asked me about SpaceX and some of these IPOs if I'm going to buy the IPOs. And this is not financial advice, but my opinion is that I'm not going to provide the exit liquidity to the insiders who will sell 6 months after the IPO when the restriction ends, guys. I just don't, I'm not going to do it. I know generally when my barber and everybody is crawling out of the woodwork asking me if I'm going to buy the SpaceX IPO, it's usually something to stay far away from. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to buy the best quality companies that pay well-covered dividends, and I'm going to pay less than what their intrinsic value is. And I'm just going to keep doing that for the rest of my days. My strategy will never change. But thank you for that. I appreciate it. Are you making any moves, fractal trades? What are your latest moves? I actually tried to sell some puts on Nike yesterday, but they didn't go through. Hey, Mike Kahn, thanks, my friend. It says, hit there. Hi there. Have you missed the earthquake yesterday at Playa? Yeah, I was not there. I was actually just arriving in San Cristobal yesterday, so I missed it. I did hear about it. Um, but thank you so much, Mike. I didn't hear about any actual damage or anything bad happening, so I think it was just a minor thing. But anyone who was in Playa for the earthquake, please let us know if you noticed it, if you felt it. Um, yeah, Fractal Trade says IPOs are a waste of time. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a chance to make some money with them, but it is a gamble. I mean, I remember the Dutch Bros IPO, right? Like in the short term, you could have made some short-term capital gains, but for those of you who follow me, follow the strategy, I don't like to take short-term gains necessarily. They screw me on taxes. So, um, okay. So we got Nick says you're welcome to try my penthouse for a week. Water filtration is very important if you buy a place. Thanks for that. Chinese stocks are on fire. Oh my God, says Fractal Trades. Yeah, let me know if you're doing any stuff with Chinese stocks, if you're actually trading or buying those stocks. I've looked at companies like Baidu, and they're interesting, but there's some risk there with China for sure. Um, Let's see what else we got. B Banger says, Besides the friendships you've made, what is it about Playa that keeps you missing it when you're not there?" Well, I'll tell you this, B-Banger, I'm not a big fan of wearing clothes, and so here in San Cristobal, it's actually not been that chilly since getting here, but you really do need to wear jeans, shoes, clothing all the time. One thing I love about Playa is just the freedom to walk out of my front door with my mates, my thermos, or my coffee and wear just nothing but a lightweight pair of shorts, maybe some Nike slides, and I'm out the door. And that does not fly everywhere. I used to live in Cuenca, and it's a very in Ecuador, in Cuenca, Ecuador, and it's a very conservative place. And this place also is quite conservative. I actually went out today in this shirt and some white shorts with some Tevas, and I had a lot of people looking at me. No one else is dressed like that. So that's one thing I love about Playa is just the freedom to get sun all over your body almost any time. That's a big one right there. Map Makers, thank you so much, my friend. He says it was my mom's birthday yesterday. We had a nice dinner at this really nice bar or restaurant. Map Maker, please give your mom birthday wishes from me and a big rope monster hug. Alan Carnegie, windows rattled, bed shook. We're on the fourth floor, no issues. Wow, okay. So thanks for sharing that, Alan. That's pretty wild. Maybe Playa's pissed that I left. That's crazy. I'm glad you guys are okay. Carl Stewart, 167K US for a penthouse was incredible. Definitely worth looking at. 100% guys. If you're into like yoga, full body sun, entertaining, there was a grill up there. I would set that up as an entertaining space. I would have meetups. So I really think those penthouses are a great value for those who like a private outdoor space on top of the common areas and amenities. Couldn't agree more. And apparently there's only two of those two bedrooms left at 139. Raul reached out and told me that I think 2 days ago. So we got Jose Ramos. What's up, my friend? Says, hey, Ropey, thanks for all your great videos. Very informative on realty and beautiful Playa del Carmen. I'm looking into playing Tesla Thursday, both ways before market close Thursday. Interesting, my friend. Thanks for sharing. We got Mike who says, I'm from Mexico City. It was like a 3.5 or 4 earthquake, but the epicenter close to Cuba was 6.4. So that's no joke right there. And I've seen the devastation of earthquakes in Ecuador, and it's just tragic. It's just absolutely haunting driving through a place that's recently been leveled by earthquakes. There was a village in Ecuador, I can't remember the name of it, but it was gut-wrenching. I drove through there with Anna, for those of you who remember her from earlier on in the channel. And what happened is there was an earthquake and then an avalanche, and the avalanche leveled the whole town. Many, many people lost their lives. And they were rebuilding, but you could see the people were just devastated. It was no joke. So wherever you are, there's risk. It could be tsunamis, hurricanes, flooding, earthquakes, uh, mass shootings. I mean, it really depends on where you are, but life is not without risk, and I think it's a good reminder to just live every day to the max for sure. Because natural disasters, I mean, Hurricane Beryl hit 2024, and I definitely um, felt the and saw the force of Mother Nature, and that was only a borderline Cat 2, Cat 3 when it hit. So, man, Mother Nature can do some things. So let's see. Nick says, beside death and taxes, there are two other inevitables, Father Time and Mother Nature. Well said, my friend. Father Time is undefeated. Mother Nature is also undefeated. Steve says, how did you get your money? Short answer, just grinding, guys. I don't even have a college degree. I read a lot of books. I worked hard. I lived below my means and I invested. So I've done everything from I had a personal training business, which was fairly successful. I bartended. Um, I grew food. I grew some specialty crops for restaurants for quite some time in the Willamette Valley. That was fun. And actually, during the pandemic, I was kind of stuck in Portland for a little bit, and I delivered food to be essential. And also, it was, it was just kind of something to do. And it ended up being very lucrative. So I actually made the last of my actual working money doing Uber Eats and Grubhub, but delivering to affluent areas, and everybody was in their homes ordering food. So I was able to invest, you know, well over $1,000 a week during that time, which was nice. And so I was reading books at night and delivering food during the day, and nothing fancy, nothing fancy at all. Silverthorne says, if I came there, could I find a job there? That's complicated. I mean, it's complicated. Some folks move down here. Depends on what you're into. What do you do back home? Maybe you can let us know what you do back home. I've known expats who have come down here from Italy, from the US, and started acupuncture practices. I've actually got a subscriber who's coming to Playa to start an acupuncture practice as well. So it really depends on what you're doing. Noemi, how you doing? Good seeing you. We got a lot of regios here in Chiapas, actually. I'll be interviewing a couple folks from your neck of the woods, Noemi. So that'll be a lot of fun. See what else we got. B Banger says, aside from investments, would you say having an online business is a good way uh, to learn American or to earn American or Canadian dollars while living in Mexico? Yeah, I mean, anything you can do geo arbitrage wise, if you can earn US dollars or Canadian dollars while you're living in Mexico, that's the ideal way to do it. Whether it's through dividends, option strategies, long-term capital gains, online business, selling merch like my Dronaldo mugs, whatever it may be, guys. Power engineer, film, and work in lab fixing crap. Well, I'm sure if you can do all those things, you could probably find a way to make money. Some people do social media management, which is cool because then you fly under the radar. Some people do like YouTube channel optimization, which I think some of that's becoming a little more obsolete because of ChatGPT Plus. Pay $20 a month and just ask Chat. Not affiliated, but let's see. What else we got? Really sorry to ask again, trying to contact Raul. Can't seem to make the connection. If he could reach, Raul was actually sick with food poisoning for a couple days, so he might be behind Gary. I know Raul's been flooded with leads and people reaching out from the real estate videos we've done recently. I think he and his team are doing their best, but he was pretty under the weather the last couple of days. We got Daryl Herrard. How much do we need in the bank to live in Mexico? I think the real question, Daryl, is how much do you need invested to live in Mexico? To get your residency, you really only need around 70,000 US in savings and investments, but to actually live on investments, you're probably going to want to have at least a 250K if you're earning a nice size return on that. And it also depends on where in Mexico. I mean, the difference between what you need financially in Playa del Carmen versus San Cristobal is vastly different. You could live a comfortable life here on $1,000 a month in San Cristobal de las Casas. And then in Playa del Carmen, the rent alone will probably be around $1,000 a month. Hopefully that answers your question. But if you're earning 18%, which is my benchmark on your investments, then 200-ish K could get you there. That'd be 36K a year. It's about how much cash flow you can generate from your investments. It's not your overall net worth, it's your cash flow. So between dividends, options income, and long-term capital gains, you should be, you know, looking at that as your answer. Okay, how much can I generate if I have a $400,000 portfolio and my cash flow yield is 12%? Then you would have your answer there. And that would be generating around 50K, which most people can live in Mexico on 50,000 US. I'm not buying much of anything right now, Patrick. I think the broad market, look, Berkshire Hathaway has one of the biggest cash positions I think it's ever had. Um, I'm sitting on a cash position as well. I'm more in the selling covered calls on existing positions that I'm up big on. One of them being Merck, which is trading around 120. I bought it at $81 less than a year ago. And so for the naysayers saying, hey, you can't average 18%, well, I'm usually actually smashing that out of the park. Why is that? It's because I know how to do fundamental analysis, and um, I also have the discipline of knowing when not to buy, and also I don't buy into FOMO. I'm never at fear of missing out. I'm not going to buy a stock that's rocketed up 400% in a year. No, I didn't buy Micron. Does it hurt a little bit not to be in the club of people getting these huge returns in very, very small amounts of time? Like Rocket Lab was one. Does it hurt to not own NVIDIA when it goes up 300 or 400 or 1,000%? A little bit, but it doesn't hurt as much as losing money. So keep that in mind. I'm not buying much right now. Do you have an opinion on SpaceX coming out on the 12th? Yeah, I'm not going to provide exit liquidity to the people who have already gotten rich off of SpaceX, the insiders. I'm not buying it. I think it's nonsense to, oh, look, now we're going to offer the common man a chance to own a piece of SpaceX once the market cap is already massive. I'm not interested in SpaceX. I think there's so much risk there, and of the thousands of other stocks that I could analyze that have a history and a track record, why not pick some of two or three of those? So I'm playing defense. I really like high quality consumer staple stocks right now. They're completely out of favor, but they pay nice dividends. Okay, Clorox is one of them. It's trading under $100 a share. Nobody's talking about Clorox. Analyze it. Let me know what you think about it. They sell Glad trash bags, ranch, Hidden Valley Ranch dressing, Kingsford charcoal. They've got Burt's Bees. They've got consumer goods that won't be disrupted by AI. Look at these companies that sell toilet paper. You're not going to wipe your butt with AI. So I'm a contrarian investor, and I'll buy Google when it's trading at 15 times earnings, but I'm not going to buy it after it's run up over 130%. I buy it when everybody hates it. And Nike is one of the few stocks that I'll sell puts on because it's out of favor. There's a lot of bad news out there right now. Also, guys, recently I sold a put on Lockheed Martin, actually twice at the beginning of the month. And once again, this is not financial advice, but all the money was flowing out of Lockheed and into these drone companies and these micro cap companies with no earnings. There's a couple of speculative stocks I like Ondas, ONDS, but once again, it's run up from 87 cents to as high as $13 in the course of a year. It's gone for now. So I think what's going to happen regarding these IPOs, SpaceX, and then the two other major IPOs happening this year, I think a lot of money is going to flow out of respectable stocks and it's going to flow into those IPOs because the big funds have to buy those. Okay, the ARK funds, all these funds are going to buy SpaceX. And what's potentially going to happen is the market's going to correct massively. A lot of respectable stocks will drop. It could be Caterpillar, Cummins, some of the great stories of these data centers. And I've owned Caterpillar and I've owned Cummins. They're fantastic companies, but they're overvalued. And I think they'll probably correct. The money will flow out of those and they'll go into these IPOs. And in the short term, the IPOs will run up. And then when the restrictions over the insiders will sell at the top, and a lot of people who buy the IPO will be holding the bag. That's what I think is probably going to happen. I don't. I got the question there from Santa Corky. Do you do anything with crypto? Yeah, I watch from a great distance and laugh. I don't buy crypto. It doesn't have any intrinsic value. It's not a currency. It's not really a store of wealth. It doesn't have cash flow. It's not going to get you to retirement. Some people make money on crypto, and a whole lot of people lose a ton of money on crypto. Never owned it in my entire life. Never plan on owning it. Um, but thank you for the question. What is selling a put? A cash secured put option is probably beyond the scope of this live stream. Check out what's the name of the channel? Clear Value Tax is the YouTube channel. The guy's a genius. Type in YouTube clear value tax options beginners, and he will thoroughly, in a matter of minutes, break down calls and puts. But this is not dedicated to teaching about options. Look up how many we have compared to China and every other country. Let's see, user data centers are a scam. Behind all the reason people normally don't like them, there is literally no use for the amount they're building. That's an interesting perspective. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. I appreciate you sharing your point of view. Yeah, Anna says, unless you're at the top of the crypto pyramid scheme. Yeah, I had someone actually reach out to me, and I won't name names, but someone wanted me to come to one of their crypto events and endorse. I said, absolutely not. I won't be a part of that. If anything, I'm an advocate for investing in real cash flowing companies. Why not buy Chevron, for example? That's an easy one to understand. During the sell-off of 2025, during the tariff sell-off, Chevron was trading at $135, and it paid a 5+%, 5.5, close to 6% dividend yield at those levels. And you would be up over 40, 50%. I think 40% on it right now. I haven't looked at it lately, but I made 100% return on Chevron in 1 year because I bought it when everybody was buying EV stocks and crypto. And I bought Chevron, and I bought BP, and I bought Shell, and I bought ConocoPhillips, you know, and everybody was buying EV stocks. I yeah, I bought the oil. And so yeah, I like that. Anna says crypto's like bad timeshares. Um, Yeah, are dividend stocks the way to go? I think they are a B-banger, but what you really want to do is you want to buy them with a margin of safety. Okay. It's kind of like when you buy a car. We all know that Porsche is a really nice car, but it's not a good car. It's not a good investment if you pay more than what it's worth. So you always want to pay for super premium quality companies, you want to pay at least 10% under the intrinsic value. And that's what I do. And if I can get a cyclical stock when it's 50% undervalued, when there's some bad news in the market, I bought Raytheon Technologies when they had the Pratt and Whitney engine failures and issues. They had to spend about $3 or $4 billion to rectify the Pratt and Whitney issue. And on that news, the stock went from the $90 range down to under 70 briefly. And I loaded the boat because I knew, hey, this company has the cash to fix that issue. It's only Pratt and Whitney's only about a fourth of Raytheon Tech's business. I bought it. Raytheon's trading at over $180 today. And that was October of 2023 when that happened. So ask me how you can average 18%. Now, another thing is looking at sectors when they're out of favor. Silicon Valley Bank went bankrupt, and then all the regional banks went down. That was also that was spring of 2023. And I bought the best quality business in that sector, which was US Bancorp. 68%-ish return in about 15 months. I bought it at 33. I bought it again at 27 and collected a 6+% dividend yield. And then it reverted to about 48. And I pretty much averaged out of my position around 48. It continued to go all the way up to the low 50s and even $60 a share. Did I time the top perfectly? No. Did I make 60+% in less than 2 years? Plus the dividend income? Yeah. So being a contrarian is huge, guys. And I think coming to San Cristobal is a contrarian move right now as well. A lot of people are looking to go to the really hot spots, San Miguel de Allende. There's a kid staying here, really, I say kid, but he's 34. He's a rock climber and he lives in Monterrey. His rent in Monterrey is 26,000 pesos a month. He's he's paying 9,000 pesos a month here, and he's climbing every single day and living his best life. So being a contrarian is really the way to go in life, I think. Let's see. Sorry, guys, I can't get to all of them. Lisa says, Rope Monster, you're the man in finance, trust funds, 6'5", blue eyes. No, I'm not 6'5". No trust fund at all. All my money was earned, but I'll take the saludos guapo. I wish I was 6'5". Let's see what else we got. Thomas says, all fraudsters use crypto to scam people. That's a good point. Yeah, it's really not, it's not crackable. Um, Collector's Dream says, love all your finance talk. Also love the dividend stocks. Thank you, my friend. I am truly passionate about it. Now, I'm not a licensed financial advisor, but I'm sharing real life experiences. And Anna, thank you so much. She says, good idea to find the hidden gem locations. That's what I'm going to dedicate at least 3 months of the year going forward to, is finding hidden gems. San Cristobal is one of the, it's not completely hidden. It's not a mystery to some folks. Some people have been here, but it's largely still an indigenous population and a place that has not been gentrified and blown up. And the expats, the Canadians that I have met here, there's a guy from Africa as well. Most of them are working feverishly on learning Spanish. And that's another thing about San Cristobal, is you really want to try to blend and mesh with the culture and speak the language here. Very few people actually, when you go into the markets to buy lemongrass, for example, which is what I'm drinking right now, they don't speak English. Let's see, what's the origin story of your nickname? Rope Monster, Battle Ropes, guys. A couple of friends of mine gave me the nickname when they came in and saw me doing battle ropes, and I was definitely in monster mode. They're like, dude, you're a monster on those ropes. Um, yeah, guys, I'll keep the hidden gems coming. I met a wonderful couple from Chiapas, from the coast, who actually invited me to come stay with them. And I told them I know nothing about coastal Chiapas. Nobody talks about it. Um, so do they have the prettiest beaches? I don't know. I haven't been there. But he said there's this one stretch that's the longest stretch of like undisturbed beach in all of Mexico. Maybe that's true. Maybe I'll go down there. They invited me to their home. How could I say no? You gonna find out y'all are Okay. I mean, yeah, I disagree. I'd say I'm out of the matrix, but maybe YouTubers are in the matrix. I don't know. I think it's all about keeping it real. If you're sitting here making fake content just for the sake of getting likes and views and subscribers, then yeah, you're probably part of the matrix. I can't disagree with that. There's a lot of fake, bogus crap on Instagram and on YouTube, and there's more and more AI content, but I think for those of us who keep it real as best we can without getting canceled, I don't think we're part of the matrix. But thanks for your comment there. Um, Yeah, that's true. So great question. Says, you ever meet any other famous travel YouTubers during your journeys? Absolutely. Yeah, William Taudian, probably the most noteworthy, but I've met quite a few Mexican um travelers as well. I mean, Chacho Rivera, I've run into probably 5 or 6 times. We happen to be in the same place filming the same thing, but in a different way. And he's of course doing his videos in Spanish mostly, and I'm doing mine mostly in English. But yeah, running into William was a big one for me. That was pretty fun. We actually collaborated, did some fitness stuff at the Deportivo in Playa. So that was a blast. Let's see, Tracy, trying to decide on Cozumel or Oaxaca. Everybody, please chime in on that one. I love both. It really depends on what you want. Oaxaca's fantastic. I mean, the food, um, I mean, Oaxaca's got it all. It's got, mountain. If you want to go up to the actual city of Oaxaca de Juarez, you want to go to San Jose del Pacifico, which is above the clouds. You can stay in a cabin with a nice fire in the fireplace. And then you can go down the highway to the coast to Mazunte, Puerto Escondido. Oaxaca really has it all. Cozumel is a very laid back vibe. There's some fantastic food there. You can rent a scooter. If you're a diver, Cozumel for the win. Absolutely. But great question. Question here, Dragon. What do you think about the sargassum? Will it end or get fixed? I would like to live in Playa. I truly have faith that it will be resolved. I do. Um, I'm not sure how bad things will have to get before the proper actions are taken. I think a lot of people will have to probably lose their businesses, which is already happening right now. I had probably 8 or 9 businesses reach out to me just last week wanting me to do videos uh, to boost publicity and tourism, and I said, I don't think that's going to help. I think the root of the issue is the sargassum, and if there's no one there, there's no one there, you know. To a degree, I think organizing subscriber meetups and doing videos helps, but that's also not how I do things. Some of these places offered me money to come do videos, and it's like I like to go um, do these videos and have it be a surprise. I like to go kind of show these spots because they're truly gems. And if someone's trying to, um, you know, compensate me for it, it completely changes the dynamic of the channel. So I think the sargassum will be resolved, but I think unfortunately they're going to have to feel more pain before action is taken. I mean, the Marines were out there the other day on the phase 1 by the ferry terminal to Cozumel, and the Marines were out there with pitchforks trying to, and bless their hearts, you know, they're out there basically breathing hydrogen sulfide and ammonia and probably getting irritated eyes and skin rashes and everything else. And they're out there with pitchforks in this massive sea of sargassum. That's not the solution. There has to be some more action, and it's got to be boats. There's got to be some more sargassum boats skimming those nets so that the sargassum doesn't just turn into a tea and have contaminate the waters anyway. There's just not enough money being spent by the politicians, and there's not enough attention on the matter yet. And I think when major businesses start going under and resorts and stuff, then the politicians will probably change the tune. Just my opinion, of course. Alan says, I watch you because of your honesty. Thank you, Alan. I wish I had better news, and I love bringing good news, but I truly think it's going to be a struggle until the money and the efforts are there. Um, Just the Heart says, Ropey, what's the name of that YouTube channel again for investing for beginners? Clear Value Tax. He also does macroeconomic updates. He's always concise and to the point. His videos oftentimes are only about 10 minutes, and they're just jam-packed with solid information, including stuff about the housing market as well. So really a good channel. The Delt Trainer says, recently went to Tolantongo, best hot springs in Mexico. Have you been there? Yeah, I have a video from there, but I did that video back when I had 2,500 subscribers. So I think a lot of you probably didn't see it. But if you type in Rope Monster Mexican road trip, it'll probably come up. I show the whole road trip from Mexico City to Hidalgo. We rented a car, had a blast. I totally agree. Beautiful, beautiful spot. Clear value tax. Yep, that's the one. Good evening, Dan from Canada. How you doing, brother? Everything good? Thank you. Rashaki says, I second the honesty comment. Yeah. If I can't be honest and transparent, I just simply won't make videos. And the same thing goes for the Train Maya video coming out tomorrow. Now there are some positives there, and then there are some things that I think should be a lot better or could be improved upon, and I don't hold any punches on that. Um, so the video drops tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time. The entire journey, the full experience from Cancun to Palenque, what to expect on that. Um, that long, long ride on the $30 billion train. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, I got to go get some dinner soon. Let's say 10 more minutes for final questions, final thoughts. Guys, remember to tap the screen, give this thing a like. I may show you guys the lodging here, but I want to be respectful of the other people here, so I might just do it in a video instead of a live stream. So the problem with San Cristobal de las Casas is it's landlocked. Yeah, I mean, that's true, but some people like the mountains. And also, I think this place is not for wealthy necessarily wealthy retirees or expats. I think this is more of an option for people who want to get out of Canada or the US and they want to be able to afford a good quality of life. And so, yes, you're getting mountains, you're getting rivers, you're getting lakes, and you're getting a colonial town with incredible food, but you're not getting coast. You're not getting the ocean. But you can certainly take an ADO or a Colectivo to the coast. Thank you, Gary says, always take your word as gospel when it comes to PDC. Now, I'm not, I make mistakes too, but to the best of my knowledge, I'm always just keeping it real, bringing it like it is. A lot of times I learn things from you guys though too. There's folks in in this chat right now who have been in playa longer than I have. And so really the value is in the community and the cohesiveness of the community. And obviously the core of that is honesty and transparency. um, Tim says, great job on the channel. Keep up the good work. There's a lot more to come, a lot more collaborations, a lot more podcasts as well. I did a podcast recently. It's not out yet, but I'll be collaborating on that one. So it will be here on the channel. So really a lot of big stuff coming. Mike Kahn says, I bet just a few Mexican has ever made that trip. Looking forward to watch all content. Take care, Rob. Thank you, Mike, very much. That's really the reason I did the Train Maya trip. It is a long, long journey, and I just had to demystify it and answer as many questions as I could in one video. So it really would mean the world to me, guys, even if you're not necessarily planning on taking that trip, if you give the video a watch, because I think there's some interesting and surprising stuff along the way and some really pretty scenery. So, and I worked pretty hard on the video. Obviously, I spent the entire day on the train, and today I edited until my eyes burned. So, a lot of work to put together a video like that. And that will be my third Train Maya video, guys. I've done Bacalar to Playa, Playa to Valladolid, but this was the crown jewel of my Train Maya videos for sure. All right, Silverthorn, take care, my friend. Appreciate your contributions here to the conversation. Thank you so much and have a nice evening. B Banger says, I will. Canada in the midst of what feels like a total collapse. I think us Canadians are going to start fleeing to Mexico in large numbers soon, 1 to 10 years. And that's why I'm here in San Cristobal. I think it's a great option. It's affordable. There's some of you who are just going to be living on pensions, Social Security, savings, investments, and sometimes there's a gentleman here from Canada who I think mentioned he's living on 900 dollars right now a month, and I think he's talking US dollars, but $900 a month in San Cristobal, and he's living a good life, and he's already cooked for me 3 times and given me some sauerkraut. So really cool Canadian dude here living his best life already. And I think, yeah, a lot of Canadians will probably end up here because it's much more affordable than San Miguel de Allende, which is also landlocked, but it's so, so expensive. I mean, there's landlocked destinations like Oaxaca de Juarez, which is also incredibly expensive compared to what it was just 6, 7, 8 years ago. And then, of course, Puerto Vallarta, Playa del Carmen, those are out of the question for a lot of soon to be expats. And so this is me doing my job. Um, and trying to answer those questions to see if this is a place where you should retire, where you should flee your situation and come to. I'll be showing you the food, I'll be showing you the gyms, I'll be showing you pretty much everything that has mystery surrounding it or a price tag. I'll be showing you the market. And guys, if you're cooking at home, it is incredibly cheap here. And if you're a chef, if you like to cook, the quality of the ingredients and the abundance of just all sorts of varieties of fruits, vegetables, herbs. There's rosemary, cilantro, all sorts of stuff growing just where I'm staying. And then you go out to these markets and you can find anything you need. So it's a fantastic place if you're into cooking. but also the restaurants, dining out. I paid 70 pesos for my first dinner, and it was on Real de Guadalupe, the main tourist street. 70 pesos for a sopa azteca, an Aztec soup with chicken, cheese, tortillas, vegetables, big bowl like that. And when the guy brought out the terminal for me to pay, he didn't even ask me if I wanted to add a tip. He just put the price in there and told me to, tap my card. Of course, I ended up giving him some tip in efectivo, in cash, but there's a lot to like here, guys, in San Cristobal. There's also some cons that I can see right off the bat, and so I'll be sharing those for the sake of honesty and transparency. If this was just some utopia, I think this place would already be full. No place in the world is without its problems, whether it's air quality, infrastructure, whatever it may be. So I'm going to show the good and the bad in the upcoming series of videos from San Cristobal. I'm not sure how long I'll be here, but one thing you can count on is that while I'm here, I'll be making the best quality videos with as much information as I can for you all. Thank you guys so much for being here. And once again, map makers, happy birthday to your mom if you're still here, and much love to everybody, guys. I've got Charles says PDC feels more like a pass-through destination than a place you'd want to stay long term. I think a lot of people think that, Charles, until they actually do stay there for 6 months or a year, and then just the sheer amount of friendships. That's another thing I call the friend factor. It's incredibly easy to make friends in Playa versus elsewhere in the world. And also the walkability is a huge one for a lot of people. And that's one thing that keeps me in Playa. I love to just walk everywhere. It's a good feeling. I walked to the Chedraui here, and I'm not gonna lie, it was far and the traffic's a little more dangerous. The walkability in Playa is still second to none. So that's my thoughts on that. Take care, Mike. Take care, Osmium. We got such a good group today, guys, and we're 81 minutes into it. I got to go do a little evening stroll now that the weather is looking perfect out there. Noemi says Monterey, just like Dubai, but in the heat. Yeah, Monterey has gotten very expensive, and Monterey is landlocked as well, guys. So I don't think San Cristobal being landlocked is a problem. I think what we really need to look beyond, whether it's in the mountains or in the coast, is the affordability and the quality of life. Just because you can't do a chapuzon in the ocean doesn't mean you can't have a good quality of life. I lived in Cuenca, Ecuador for 7 months and had some of the best memories of my life there. I made some lifelong friendships. It's about the people, it's about the food, and it's about your attitude and what you make of your time each and every day. So I'll leave you with that final thought, guys. Thanks again for being here. Until next time, Rope Monster out.